Sit down, it's early. Good morning. I'm an addict named Meg. From hope to faith to trust. I was told to trust the process. And I'm nervous as usual. I always am when I get up here. Hope to me is an unrecognized expectation. Something sought after but not believed can come true. An unfulfilled dream. And before I got to the rooms, I used to hope that I'd get good dope. I used to hope that my daughter would never find out. I used to hope that my family really didn't know. I used to hope that this one wasn't going to kill me. I had a lot of hope in active addiction. And I too am grateful that I had this disease. I couldn't say that for a long time. But if I didn't have this disease, I wouldn't know you people. And I always hoped that people would like me. Faith to me is, it was something I really didn't know. I didn't know what it was. Faith was filled with religious connotations. Faith was something that I told you I had, but I didn't feel it. When I was growing up, I went to a particular building to pray to a particular God because that's what I was told to do. I didn't know what or who God was. I had my theories, I had my ideas, but I also had a lot of doubt because I never felt it. So I would tell you that I had faith, and I had kind of an idea on what I thought faith was, and it wasn't until I came to these tables that I saw faith in action. I didn't have it, but I saw it. And since I've been coming around, faith is something that I've been able to develop. And I came in with a lot of hope. I hoped that I could stay clean. I hoped that I could have an understanding of what these steps would mean. I hoped that you people would like me. I hoped that I would do good. And I hoped I would eventually learn how to love myself. And through the first step, I got a lot of hope. And then I worked step 2. That's where faith began to come into play in my life. I had faith in you guys. I had faith in the program of Narcotics Anonymous. I had faith in a higher power. I had faith that this was where I needed to be, but I still lacked faith in myself. So I continued to work the steps, and I got to step 3. And miracles, I began to recognize miracles in my life. And my faith grew. And the miracles are that just for today, I don't have to get high, no matter what. I had faith that if I worked my steps, I could stay clean and get a little bit of clean time. I had faith that recovery would actually become a part of my life on a regular basis. I had faith that if I needed to talk and if I needed help, I could come to one of you, or all of you, and ask for it. I had faith that you'd be there for me no matter what. So I continued to work the steps. Some of them are really scary. Some of them are really scary and difficult because I analyzed. But I had faith if I did what I was supposed to do, I'd get better. So as I went through the steps, I got to step 6 again. Coming to believe has taught me to trust the process from going from hope to faith, and then from faith to trust. Trust is very difficult for me because I grew up in a household that was very loving. My father my father wasn't really there emotionally, but he was there physically. He would reprimand us. We would get the belt. We would get reprimanded. We would get told to clean your plate, otherwise you're not leaving the table. We would get told of what to do, but we were never shown how to do. And my mother, love my mother. My mother tried to raise us 6 kids, 3 from his first family and 3 of her own. Dysfunctional Brady Bunch. But she tried to raise us. She tried to spend as much time as she could with each of us. But all 6 of us kids came out addicts. My mom and dad weren't addicts. Why did we come out that way? I have no idea, but we did. My faith used to be based on, I have to do this on my own because nobody's going to do it for me. I have to be the stand-up person. I have to make good grades. I have to strive to succeed because I am the baby of those 6 kids. And growing up, I was the only success. I'm the only one that got the good grades. I'm the only one that made the honor roll. But then my siblings would make fun of me. So I learned faith in negative aspects of life. I trust negativity happens. I trust that if I do the wrong thing, I will suffer consequences. I trust none of you people, because all you're here to do is hurt me and show me I am not good enough. That was when I was using. But trust means something else to me today, because I have worked steps. I have talked to you people. I have kept coming back. And I have learned to trust you, and in turn, trust myself. Step 11 taught me to trust my higher power. Step 3 taught me who my higher power is. And step 11 helps me to trust that higher power. I have trust issues with individual people. Because, and when I'm having those trust issues, it's because I'm lacking my faith in my ability to recover and become good enough. But through working these steps, the hope turned into faith, that turned into trust. And I can actually come to a meeting and spill my guts about anything, usually. If I've worked through it, I can talk to you about it. I trust that I can work these steps and stay clean just for today, no matter what. I trust that this program works. I trust the process. I trust the spiritual principles. I trust people in these rooms. Not everybody. Because through coming into this program blindly and knowing it was a healthy program where people can get healthy, I learned that not everybody's here for recovery. And that was hard. That was painful. But it's a reality. So, in knowing that, in watching you grow in your recovery and seeing you go through the process, I can trust that as long as I do what I'm suggested to do, keep working the steps, keep coming back, keep doing what my higher power guides me to do, I trust that I will die clean one day. And I may get hit by a bus. I may live till I'm 110. Hope not. But I trust the process. I trust life. I trust people. I trust things. I trust that if I pick up again, I will die eventually. But I'll get real sick before that, and I'll take people down with me. I trust the fact that life is good. If I'm living in something bad, it's only because that's what my perception is at the moment. I trust that I can pick up the literature and find help. I trust that if I pick up the Just for Today meditation, it will pertain to my life today. And it's funny how that works. God has such a sense of humor. Without the hope that I first came in with, I wouldn't be here today. It was a very small flicker of hope, but you guys helped it grow. I went to my first meeting and they told me, you never have to use again. Really? I didn't know that. But you told me that and I trusted you because I didn't have anything else I could put my trust in anymore. So I kept coming back. I kept listening. I kept taking suggestions and I kept growing. For the first year here, I haven't walked around all weekend bawling my eyes out. Me, the South Shore crier that cried at every meeting, cried at every function, cried at the drop of a hat. I trust my feelings. I trust my gut. I trust my heart. But I could not have any of this had it not been for you. Everything I have learned, I have stolen from you, in a sense. Because you guys also taught me I can't keep this unless I give it away. Man, the willingness to do that sometimes just ain't there. But that's when I've allowed myself to be sucked dry. But I trust you enough to fill me up again. I haven't been to a function since this one last year because I had to go through some really deep personal issues. And I've had to do some healing. And I had to protect myself from myself. But I trusted that you'd be here this year. I trusted that my home group would be open every week if I chose to go. Some weeks I chose not to. I went through the process of trusting my foundation of recovery enough last summer. And I'm not suggesting by any means that anybody do this. But I learned what it's like to be a person that didn't go to meetings. I went to a meeting, one meeting, every 6 weeks. And thank God you guys gave me that foundation. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I do not by any means suggest anyone put themselves through that because it was very, very painful. But it was also a very valuable lesson because I found out how valuable meetings are and how valuable recovery is. It is the most awesome gift I have ever received in my life. I never thought I would be somebody at the age of 41 who's now finishing up a junior year of college on the dean's list with semester honors. Me? I'm not good enough. Remember, I'm a mistake. That's not what I do. I'm not that smart. Bullshit. Sorry. We are that smart. Addicts are not stupid. We are very intelligent people. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be alive. We are very intelligent people. And you know what? Kathy said it Friday night. Sky's the limit. I'm not there yet. I've got a lot of work to do. But I'm doing it. And you guys are showing me how. It's awesome. It's a beautiful gift that being a sponsor sometimes can be very frustrating, and I've got the best sponsor in the world. I really do. My best friend became my sponsor. And I'm very blessed with the sponsorship family that I have. But being a sponsor and seeing someone struggle with the concepts and the ideas and the hope, faith, and trust that comes along with this program, seeing them struggle and not get it, I just want to take them and shake them and say, don't you see? Don't you get it? No, they don't. I have to be some kind of an example. But where I'm lacking, I depend on my sponsor and you people to show me where I'm lacking and help me grow so I can be there for them when they're ready. I just keep praying. I keep showing them this is what I've done. This is how simple it can be. If you want it, it's right here. You can have it. Come and get it. I can't carry you. I can carry the message. I used to have a t-shirt that said "Trust the Process," and it had little doves on it. And I gave it to a newcomer. She's no longer with us. It's a shame. She had to go test the waters, and I don't know if she's still alive. She didn't know how to trust. I tried to show her, but at that time, I didn't know how to trust. It's weird how God works in my life when He's bringing people in to show me who I was and who I can be. Because the women in my life today, and that meeting yesterday was so awesome. We had a little short women's meeting yesterday. Part 2 is today. Sitting around a group of women, I told everybody yesterday that was there, I used to consider you women as competition. If I had a man in my life, by God, you can't come close because you'll steal him. Because remember, I'm not good enough. So you guys were all competition. I hated each and every one of you. Don't get close because I'll get hurt. It was all about me and what was going to happen to me. What was I going to have taken away? What was I had no trust. I had no faith. I had no hope that I really was good enough. I am actually proud to say I've been clean from a relationship for over a year. Right. And I'm okay with that. I didn't think I could be because I've never ever been. But I realized that this last year has been the year of my biggest growth. Gee, I wonder why I wasn't focusing on him. I actually had time for me, made time for me. I had faith that I could be okay through this. Who knew? We do get intelligent again some days. I've come to realize that through this living the spiritual principles of this program, I can recover. I will never be recovered. I don't know what that's like. I've never seen anybody that is recovered. But I see people that are recovering and growing and changing and doing and serving and living this program. And as long as you guys stick around, I'll be okay. Because I tried to do this on my own. I really tried working the steps by myself. I tried staying clean and living spiritual principles by myself. And my higher power revealed to me, it's good in theory, but until you put it into practice, it don't mean shit. Because thought without action means nothing. It means I know things. But without the application, which is in living with you and applying these, it means absolutely nothing. So I have hope that my faith will grow and turn into trust to keep me here long enough to become the child of God that I was meant to be. And together we grow with love. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay. I was told to keep coming back, and then one addict told me to stay. I'm here, whether you like it or not, and there's not a thing you can do about it, but I'll love you, because I know what that is today. I trust that I know what healthy love is today, because you all have shown me how. I thank you so very much for being here for me and to letting me share my personal experience, strength, and hope. And I will stay, and I hope you do too. Thanks.
You look marvelous.
Thank you, Meg. Kleenex today, huh? All right. Again, thank you. Very informative. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, Jimmy, to come up and share with us his experience. Jimmy?
Hello, everyone. My name's Jim, and I'm an addict.
I was told to do this before I did my first leave, and so I'd like to do this today. Could we please have a moment of silence so I can let my higher power step in and you step out? Thank you. Oh, hope, faith, and trust. You know, my hope was that I would sit there and be able to wake up every day and I would be able to sit there and have the money or find a way to get my drug because I couldn't deal with life on life's terms. I didn't know how. I was brought up in addiction. That's all I knew. I hoped that I would eventually find that person in my life or them people in my life that would just like me. Just give me that little bit of love. Because I felt I never had it. Growing up, I did everything possible to try and get respect and try and get love and, you know, just to be noticed. I did the good things, or I tried. It didn't work. So I felt, okay, if I do the bad, I do know I will get noticed. You know, and I did. You know, and it wasn't oh, well, here, I'll hug you and I'll love you because you did wrong. It was, you know, you did this and I'm going to do this and you're not going to do this. And it made it worse. I went through active addiction, you know, and I kept hoping. And almost 2 years ago, I got in trouble with the law for my very last time. I got thrown in jail, which I don't like that. And I got put on probation. I got sent to, I had to go through classes, IOP classes. Well, in the town I was in, that all they had was, they had a fellowship. And everyone basically went there, was court ordered to go there, so it's like, we'll go there, we'll go through this, but we'll still use. And it's like, I didn't know, you know, I was scared to death. You know, I mean, the town that I live in is a really redneck town. So it's like, oh God, I gotta sit there and I'm gonna sit there and still stay in active addiction because these people will accept me that way. I went to classes. I was on probation. I got a suspended sentence of 6 months. Which, if I got in trouble, I would have to do that 6 months. I went to the classes. I'd get dropped off, half crocked. I'd say, make sure you have me a 6-pack when you come to pick me up. I did this all the way through. The guy that was doing the class come in and said, I'm not an addict. I'm not an alcoholic. All I know is what I learned in college through the books. Cool. I got you covered. I can play this. And so I did. I played him. I even sit there and went on one-on-one sessions with this man using. And he still believed all the bullshit I could pour out. In this process, they told us we had to finish the first 3 steps. I had no idea anything about it. All I knew is I had this paper that they wanted me to sit there and do. Boy, I bullshitted my way through that. My mind, it's like Meg was saying, we're intelligent. I lied on the streets. I was good at it, and I was good at it whenever I had to be. Still, when I was going through here, I was like, I'll play your game. I had 1 class left. My probation officer put me on informal probation, which meant go up, pay my probation fees, sign the paper. That was it. Cool, I can do this. Well, the very first time I went up to sign and pay, I drank. Went up there, signed the paper, paid my fees, started to leave. Lo and behold, wait a minute, we need to give you a piss test. Oh, shit. I'm thinking, well, I can't pee. Well, there's a water fountain down there. You go down there and drink until you can, and when you can, you come and tell me. So I went down there, and it's like, I drank and drank. I said, okay. I couldn't piss. I said, let me put my fingers under the water. I said, I know I'll piss then. No, because that could mess up the test. So I went back down and drank and drank and drank. I finally went and I did just enough to give them what they needed. I knew I was in trouble. I knew that I had violated probation. That meant I had to pay consequences. Well, I'm going to look good. I went and checked myself into a rehab center. Went through this rehab center. Had my relapse already planned when I got out. I went in there and it was the loneliest place I had ever been. I felt as though there was no one else in this world. Until one of the staff members was an addict and talked to me. And told me about NA and everything, and I was like, I'm not ready for this shit. I'm just ready for my next fix, because I don't know how to live. I didn't have hope. I didn't have faith in myself, so I couldn't have faith in anybody else. I didn't have trust. I was in a relationship, and I still did not trust, because that was taken from me, I felt. Well, I got out. I had hepatitis. I'm not afraid to tell that today. Before I was. Because I was like, these people won't touch me. And I needed you. Maybe not at the time I didn't need you for the support and to, help me grow in recovery. But I needed you just to be there and recognize me. And I got out. Don't ask me why. I went home and went out to where I had my stash, brought it in the house, popped every top, poured it down the drain. What am I doing? I wanted to jump in, and go right back there. There goes my life. That's what I felt, which is my life had already went down the drain anyway, and I just wanted to follow this, Well, I had to go to the doctor, and the same physician that I had was right above the rehab center where I went. And I went there, and the person that did activities in there was an addict, which I didn't know at the time. And she's like, there's a function going on. There's a camp out, you know. You ought to go. It's really fun. It's really fun, you know. And if you don't have a tent, don't worry about it. They always take extra tents, and somebody will make sure that you can stay. You know, I was scared to death, and I was thinking, yeah, right. Well, I went, and on the way there, I think, what the hell am I doing? Because these people aren't going to have, there's not going to be a party here. You know, how can I have fun and there's no using? Because I wasn't used to it. I went, and a person that was in rehab with me, which at the time I didn't know had been through rehab like 6 or 8 times, and still today is not working a program. But because of that person, I got to meet a lot of people. I stayed for the day. I didn't camp, but I stayed, and I had a blast. I had a blast. I heard the very first speaker meeting. I was told, you know, get these numbers. You know, I got a piece of paper, and I went around and I got all these numbers. You know, it's like, give me your number, you know, because I wanted to look good. Knowing I was going to put them in my pocket, take them home, and because the phone was too heavy for me. And I didn't trust you all, so I sure as hell wasn't going to call you. I went to my very first NA meeting also. And it was the most spiritual thing I ever went through. So I decided to stay. Find out, you know. I had the hope that, yeah, these people can do it, so I can do this. So I stayed around. I got a sponsor, but I got a sponsor for all the wrong reasons. You know, I had hepatitis. I went to a meeting, heard this person speak. They had it. Whoop, there's my sponsor. Bad idea. You know, because we had nothing in common. This was a biker guy, okay? And look at me, okay? It wasn't going to work. But you know, I started building the hope that maybe, just maybe, I could do this. And, you know, I kept coming around. And I started building that faith in everyone. I mean, everyone. Here's my book. Open it up, read it. This is my life, you know. Take what you can and hurt me, because that's what some addicts can do. If you give out enough information, these people can hurt you. They're addicts. We're all addicts, you know. And just because we come clean does not mean we change. Everything. You know, this is a process, and I had to find this out. But I still had the faith in everyone. Even though I got hurt, I still had faith. You know, I started thinking, okay, I'll do the steps. I lied my way. A person that come around when I came around was on their 3rd step. I hadn't even started my 1st. I started copping resentments because this person was doing it. He was on his third step, and he was better than I was. This couldn't happen. Oh, I'm almost finished with my first step. Then I went on to the second. I'm on my second. I'm done. I'm on my third. Yeah, I got 3 questions left. And, I didn't pick up the phone to call my sponsor. I never wanted to talk to anyone. And I found out through listening to others, you're going to have to do something in order for you to stay clean. If you do not put this into action, you will not stay clean. And I had to have belief then. I had to start putting trust. Even though I got hurt, I still had to believe and have trust, build my trust. And I did with very few people. I finally started opening up. I was told, you need to get rid of that sponsor and get you a sponsor and make sure that you listen to people, find out if they're going to meetings, find out if they're working steps, and find out if they're living this program. And I did. I found someone. Even though I got my sponsor, I relieved my other, which I thought, oh my God, I'm firing him. And I had to build up all this. Well, what am I going to say? Because I'm going to say something. I'm ready for the comeback. You're going to chew me out, I'll come back at you. I had to build all this up in my head. And lo and behold, I told my sponsor, I need to talk to you at a meeting. He said, okay. He went in the bathroom and I went in there and he was taking a leak and I was like, his back was to the wall to me, okay? So I thought, okay, this is the perfect time. So I said, this isn't working for me, and I feel that I need to get someone else. Okay, that's okay. All I want for you is to recover. Have you got someone else in mind? Busted my bubble. I wasted all this time and energy trying to build something to say, and it was, what the fuck? Say something to me. Say something to me. Because this was what I was used to in active addiction, and it didn't happen. So I started with the person I wanted to be my sponsor said, okay, I want you to write down why you think you're an addict. And, insanity. I was an insane person a year ago, really insane. I invited almost every addict around my area to my house for a Christmas party. I went out, spent $1,500 on gifts for each and every person. Had all these people in my house, but the thing is, my sponsor came first before we went upstairs. I wrote down what I thought, which was a bunch of crap, and we went over it, which then I started seeing. He started giving me, that's when the faith, the trust started, it slowly was beginning. He said, okay, I want you, he pointed out, okay, the step working guide, he marked questions he wanted me to do, but he had his own step that had been passed from him, his sponsor, and his sponsor before, down. Wanted me to go through this. I remember finishing it, and it was a book. And it told me before, don't sit there and feel like that you have to write a book. But once I started thinking and once I started really putting this into thought and looking at me, my pen just, it wouldn't stop. And it was okay though. It was okay. I went over my step, which I'm really grateful today for the way that we did it. We didn't go over it all in one session. We did parts at a time because I wanted an understanding. Because I did want this in my life. You all have this, and if you all had this, I had faith in you. I could finally grow that faith to where I seen what you were doing and you were growing, and I wanted to be there too. And the only way for me to get there was to start this process. And for me, I went over that first step, and I'll tell you, I never ever felt the kind of peace and serenity that I got from that first step. I felt like I had lifted a burden off my shoulders. You know, it's like, ooh, this is great. Oh, this is what they mean. I did the second step and got finished with it, went over it. And my sponsor was telling me, because it's like, we was going over, ooh, this is some 4-step shit here. You need to hold this back. We won't go that far. And I got on my third step, and I remember writing it, and it was like, it was a slow process for me. I was just being stagnant, more or less, you know. I was more or less, I got 2 steps done. I'm really doing this now. I'm grown, you know. I'm recovered, you know, thinking all this bullshit, because then I started building it back, you know, because that's the way we are. If we don't hold on, and if we don't start doing, it all comes back, you know. What's the use? If you're not willing to let it go, you're in trouble. And for me, my sponsorship retreat, which I'm very grateful for my sponsorship family, was coming up, and I told my sponsor, I want to get this third step done before I go. I guess I wanted to make myself look a little bit bigger. Like, yeah, okay. Well, we went over it, and I remember after I got finished, he said, okay, one last question. Do you trust me? And at that time, my answer was no. Do you trust God? At that time, my answer was no. Because I still had a few resentments, because I prayed to God, you know, which my way of doing it was the only time I wanted to sit there and get something was whenever I was in trouble, you know. Please help me out. I promise I'll never do this again. And it was like, well, I look back now, and it's like, when I said no, I thought that that's the answer he wanted to hear. But deep in my heart, it was, yes, I do. And I did, you know, because I had to look. If I didn't, I wouldn't have told this man all this stuff I already told him. And if I didn't believe in a higher power that was greater than me, which is my God, the God of my understanding is my God. If I didn't believe in them, I wouldn't be here today, you know, and I wouldn't have got through them the first 3 steps. And I had to understand that and realize that. And it's like, later on I told him, you know, I lied to you, you know, because I do. And, you know, I got started on my 4th step. I got pissed off, threw the book, ripped pages out. And, you know, I've been on it now for like almost 6 months. Haven't wrote, you know, I wrote, and then I'm not doing it. I was asked to do a lead up in my area. And I did. So I thought, okay, this is what it's about. You know, you tell another human being, and God of your understanding, and it's gone. You know, you did bullshit. Bullshit. I didn't do I didn't even speak my 4th step, okay? I didn't let my 4th step in that because I hadn't worked it yet. And my sponsor told me the next day he was proud of me and said that I did a very great job. And he was so grateful that I did not bring my 4th step into it. Well, I don't know what I said, so, you know, I don't know what I brought out. And and I still didn't have, the trust issue with me when it comes to the 4th step. I know there's freedom after, but it's still that feeling of, no, you'll hate me if I say this, you know? It's like everything, you know, you people, you know, it's not, I have to tell you people everything about that 4th step. I have to tell my sponsor, you know. And I went to a camp out last weekend. And in the last 2 weeks, I feel that I've grown more than I've grown in the last 3 months. I started talking about me and what's going on with me and my recovery. Trying to sit there and use excuses of why I didn't want to do the 4th step. I've already felt that I've talked it, you know, and it's like I'm a more visual person than I am a writing person, and I really don't like to write, you know. That's bullshit too, because I'm in school now and I'm getting ready to take my GED, you know, and that's a big accomplishment for me because that's something I always said I was going to do, knowing in my mind the drug was more important, and hell no, that would take up too much of my time. But today, I'm getting ready to take it, and then I'm going to progress in, because I got goals today. You know, that's where my faith has taken me, is to know I am someone, and I can go on, but I can't go on without you all. You know? And now, it's like, after coming here, after last weekend, whew, I'm telling you, this fellowship really does give back what's being given to them. And I feel today like I have gotten the answers I need. And, you know, it's not, you know, I took the suggestions before I sit there and put the answer into process, because I'm not going to just take one person and say, okay, yeah, you're right, I'm going to do that. Because then I start and it's like, you're fucked up. You know, I'm not doing that shit. You don't know what you're talking about. And then I get messed up in my brain, because that's when I sit there and open up just enough to let the addict part of me come back in. No, you're fine. You don't need to do this. You'll be alright. You're recovering. You're doing a really good job. Almost 2 years. Hey. When I start thinking like that, I know that what it's telling me is stay, you know, get yourself, just stay away from everyone else. Let me start sitting there and taking over. Let my thought process, which is a very sick one, take over, and I will eventually go back out. But I can honestly say today, I know if I did, I would die, because I would go for one last time, because I don't want to go back. Not to the insanity, the destructive, unmanageable life that I had. I need what I have today, but I can only get that through this, through you people. And I have that trust today. I'm going home, 4 steps, okay, let's do it. You know, My past might not be the same as yours, but it's mine, and I have to release that in order for me to grow. And if I can't be willing to do that, I'm going to be one sick addict. And I can't be that today. There's too much in life to enjoy. And I'm here today because of you all, and because of Narcotics Anonymous. You know, it's really funny because before I came around this program, I think I maybe weighed 110 pounds. My face was sunk in. You could count my ribs on my front and back. And because food was not important to me. It is today. And, you know, I was sitting there telling my significant other on the way to get something from the cabin. I said, yeah, we grow with love. I'm growing. And it's, you know, it's funny, you know, I'm grateful that I am gaining weight, but it's like it seems to be spreading in all the wrong places. So it's like time to start working, you know, to sit there and tone it up. And, you know, I'll be all right. And I have so much faith in you all now. I don't have to sit there and have faith that you are always going to be there. I just have to have faith that you're here today. And I can learn something today new. And now today I do have hope, faith, and trust. And that's more than I ever had. I have what I've always wanted in my life. Today. Just today. It doesn't matter how much I have as far as my clean time. That doesn't matter. Because I can lose that in one day. You know, I have to take today and believe today what I can get, what comes my way, what I'm going to do about it. Am I going to try and go around it, or am I going to try and take it head on, deal with it one thing at a time, and go on and make it through the next day? Today, I'm here, and I'm very grateful. It's another day clean. I woke up this morning, you know. I didn't need anything in my life to sit there and make me live except for one thing, and that's Narcotics Anonymous and you people. I want to thank you very much for letting me share, and I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Before I open the floor for sharing, I need to remind everyone that we are being taped. If you don't want to be on tape, let me know. And I'll open the floor. We got until 10:30, so it's 10 o'clock now. If anybody's want to come up here, got any questions for the two that spoke, or want to share on the topic today, you're more than welcome to come up.
I'm going. Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I'm an addict. Hi, Bonnie. I really love this topic because I have so much joy in my life today because of the process of hope and faith and trust. And someone broke it down for me real simple. And hope for me is when I want to believe. Like when I came here, I really wanted to believe that I didn't have to live like that anymore. And that turns to faith as I come to believe. And what happened is, as I watched all of you and heard you share the same things that I was feeling, and heard you share about what you did and what you're like now, then I was able to come to believe that I didn't have to live like that anymore. And then came the process of trust, which for me is putting that belief into action. That now I am able, you know, I didn't come out of the first step with hope. I came out of the first step very, very afraid because I saw the reality of this disease in my life. And it took going to step 2 to get that hope, to come to believe that, you know what, yes, I have this disease, but I can live life differently with it. And, you know, a lot of developing the trust in the 3rd step was the action behind that trust was I was going to work the rest of the steps. That's how I was going to put that trust into action. And that it wasn't about trusting some expected result. It was just trusting that I was going to be okay, you know. I think about recently I had to go through this with a move that I went on with. And you know what I really learned about trusting my higher power? That it isn't about trusting. I moved into a house, and come to find the house was still for sale, and I didn't sign a lease before I moved in. And trusting my higher power wasn't about me having hope and faith I got to stay there. It was about having hope and faith that no matter what, I was going to be okay. That it didn't matter. Just like this weekend, I left my 2 teenage boys at home. And every now and then that motherly thing comes in. But you know what? I trust that no matter what, when we get home, I'm going to be okay. No matter what condition I find, be it good, bad, or otherwise, that I'm going to be okay. That is what Narcotics Anonymous has given me, the ability to trust life. To trust that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. Trusting that as long as I stay in this process, I don't have to use no dope today, you know. And even wearing my pajamas is trust. You know, when I came here, I hoped you all would like me. I really did. And you know what? Some of you did and some of you didn't. But you know what? I don't like people who wear masks, who lie, who manipulate, who are incapable of being honest. And that's who I was when I got here. So what you did is you taught me how to become someone who was likable. How to reach out without manipulating, how to ask for help. And so that turned to trust. I trust today that I can be myself, and that, you know what? You love me, and the people who love me and the people who like me from the inside out, not from the outside in. And so anyways, it's really great to be alive, and I really love this process. And when I'm having a lack of trust in my life, I've learned to go back and look for hope first, because that's where it begins. Even in finding a sponsor, it wasn't about finding someone I could trust. I was incapable of trust. All I had to do was find someone where there was some hope, like I hoped they could help me. And then I had to have some faith that following their suggestions would help me. And that turned to trust, because you know what? I was told, you don't have to be willing, just do it anyways. And as I did that, trust developed, because it really did work, you know. So when I'm lacking some trust today, I always try to go back and start with that hope and see if I can bring it forth from there. So anyways, I'm really glad to be here, and good morning!
Good morning. My name's David. I'm an addict. I've had my coffee. Sometimes I put my hope in coffee. I used to grow like a frog getting poked in the ass. You know, when the pain got bad enough, I'd grow. I'd do something about it. And you know, that goes way back, long before I got into, you know, here. Mom would tell me, you know, to take out the trash, and I'm like, I am, you know. And then now you're watching Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, I'm getting psyched up, you know, getting ready. In my recovery, I put a lot of faith in pain. You know, when it gets bad enough, I'll do something about it, you know. And what I've come to believe is that I can tolerate any asshole. I can tolerate my own stink for a really long time, and the pain really doesn't motivate me. I used to think that's what I was jumping, those little jumps came from, and it's not. And I've lost faith. I'm disillusioned in pain. It's just when I get tired of waiting. Just when I get tired of it. When I first looked for some help, this wasn't around, and I got enough help to get out of the nightmare. There were other things, there were other 12-step groups, there was other counseling, there's all kinds of stuff, and it helped. It really saved my life. It got me out of the nightmare, but each morning I pretty much woke up disappointed, you know. That was how it went on like that for a really long time before I heard the NA way of life. And I was so scared that I wasn't going to be good enough for this. And when I first started, I hemmed and hawed because there were people with a lot less time than me that I was meeting that had their shit together already. At least from where I was standing, they did. And I had a couple years clean almost before I first heard of NA. I mean, there were NA meetings in my town. They were about 2 years old before I got there, but I mean, they were nothing like this, and that's just what we called them. We certainly didn't do much. We just went. Well, what we did there was, yeah, we did something. It wasn't this. And I had hoped that they would make me better, but they didn't. There's been a lot of things I've gone from hope to faith to trust to disillusionment to loss of faith to desperation again. There's been I thought that if I could just get you guys to believe I was okay, that I'd believe it too. And people would treat me nice, and I'd think they were full of shit, that they didn't really like me. They just had to be nice. And then I'd believe that they really liked me, but that they didn't really know me, That fake it till you make it thing I took as being insincere, and I didn't understand that it's not about insincerity, it's just about practicing motions until they become natural. Gee, simple program for complicated people. I used to argue about that fake it till you make it thing so much. There's so many things that I put faith in my recovery that don't work. They're nice things. They make recovery worthwhile, and they enrich it. The love in these rooms kicks ass. I love it. It doesn't keep me clean. It just makes staying clean really, really worthwhile. It's not what made me stop waking up in the morning disappointed that I didn't die in my sleep. Because the love in these rooms was still there before that, even when it wasn't these rooms. There's other rooms here, and there's other ponds that thirsty horses can clip-clop their asses to besides this one, and they'll find water. I'm here because it attracts me, and because the whole time I was putting my faith in things that are available in these rooms that don't work, that themselves don't keep me clean, I was still around the things that do work. I just didn't recognize what was keeping me clean. I didn't recognize, the things that I can believe in, the things you can do for me and the things you can't do for me. There's a lot of things I've come to believe you can't do for me. And I've learned to trust that because, of experience. No matter how many ways I've tried to get you to do it for me, no matter how many times you've tried to, we're all codependent. That whole trust thing, I can kind of explain hope and faith, but trust confuses the hell out of me because I came in here and I got stupid and naive and I got hurt. And I used to really go for a long time say, I don't trust nobody, and still sometimes I say that. I just have, I don't trust anyone in NA. I just have faith that if I don't open up to you and give you a chance to fuck up my world, that I'm going to have a meltdown inside, far worse. That in my own mind I'm in greater danger. And I realize that's not true. I see trust in my life. I just still don't have the words for it. I can't explain it to you. I can just show you. And I come into these workshops hoping that somebody's going to explain trust.
Yeah.
And I sit here in awe watching it. People show me trust. That's what I got today. People showed me trust. So it's the understanding and application that they work with. I watched the application today. And even though I don't know how to explain it, I think I understand it better. Just because understanding doesn't always mean you can put it into words. So, thanks, I got what I needed.
Recovering addict. Oh, I guess I shared a little something on trust. What was it? Trust and honesty? Open mind. Hope, faith, and trust. Yeah, I just got out of treatment. Actually, I got kicked out of treatment. Kicked out of treatment. I had like 88 days. It was a 90-day program. But I didn't use or anything. Just me and the counselor had a difference of opinion. So he kicked me out. And I was real upset over that. I was 2 days shy of completing. Pissed me off, man. I wasn't too happy about that, but it's funny because God's got me in another situation I never thought would happen. I was not supposed to be up here in Indiana. For real. It's just crazy how it all happened. Well, I was supposed to be. In my mind, I wasn't supposed to be. So let's say that I'm learning to understand that exactly where you're supposed to be. I mean, that to me, my mind complicates that, because I believe we have a choice in what we do. But ultimately, it's a higher power that runs our life, and still dealing with that. And it's hard for me to learn to trust on a daily basis. Something I can't see, can't think my way through. But I know it's right. I know it's the right thing to do for me in my recovery. It's like if I get up and get on the left side of the bed, is that exactly where I'm supposed to be? Or should I get off and get up on the right side? I don't know. But I'm learning to do that one day at a time. I got some issues coming up in July, some stuff, wreckage in my past, and court issues, and I'm thinking, man, they're saying to trust in the process, and it'll be okay. But if I get 6 months in jail, I ain't, I'm not happy about that, The trust, but it's the consequences, It's consequences, and I'm trying to learn to trust, but I'm a worrier. I'd rather just worry. I'd rather worry than trust, So I know it's going to take time because I didn't get this way overnight. So my recovery is going to take time, one day at a time, and that's just hard for me. Honesty is not too bad, but just learning to trust. And so what I'm doing now in recovery, learning to surrender. I'm so tired of all this fighting, man, all this mental fighting. Learning to surrender. One day at a time. I know my higher power cares about me. One guy said something that made sense to me, cracked me up. He said, look, when God made man, he put trees here, water, give you everything you need. So he's just not going to leave you down here, without, trying to take care of you some kind of way. But, the choices that we make, I always make some fucked up, some screwed up choices when they record this. Some screwed up choices. But I just want to get up and share something. I think I never shared a lot. I never share. But I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying. The book says change your whole way of thinking. I mean, everything, pretty much. Everything. I got a lot of changing to do. I'm talking about lifetime habits. Been thinking this way. I'm 40. I've been thinking this way for 40 years. So I know it's going to be a process, but I have to change my behavior or not. Because really in recovery, I can have a pretty decent life. I really can. If I don't choose to screw it up, picking up some dope. I'm glad I'm at this point, though, man, because I'm tired. I'm tired of living the way I've been living. And I've said that before, too. I have. But something's different this time. And I hope that's the psychic change they talk about, the psychic change. Rearrangement of attitude, ideas, emotions. I have to change it all, I'm really self-centered, because the life I was living, it was dog eat dog, out there in the street. Everybody just cared about themselves. You got yours, you're cool. If you didn't, whatever, So I'm really trying to care about other people today. Learn to care about somebody besides myself, because the book talks about self-centeredness is the core of my problem. Selfishness, dog eat dog, rat race, So I just want to share some things, and I know that I want to learn what the book has to say of Narcotics Anonymous. I want to get the book tight. And then I learn from individuals, but I always go back to the book because that's where it's accurate, Sometimes the information get a little mixed. So if I stick with the book and the steps, I should be all right, And take the suggestions to get sponsorship and work in the steps and everything. For me, I understand that it takes what it takes. You got to be so beat down of the way you're living. It's just dang. And for me in recovery this time, it's like I get these shots of sanity are coming back, and I'm like, damn, smoking crack and drinking liquor seems stupid right now. Tomorrow, I don't know, but right now, today, it seems so stupid, to ruin your life chasing, because I know every time I get out there in the game, it's just scandalous, it's just terrible, it's just pain and anxiety, So for the day, it seems real stupid to pick back up, and then go through more madness, more court, more insanity, more homelessness. Because this time in recovery, I've seen people really flip. I've seen people lose their mind because they went back out, and that's scary. That for me is scarier than going to jail or anything else, even dying. Even I'd rather die in a way than go back out and lose my mind. I've seen people flip, and it's not pretty. I mean, really gone. They didn't when they came back in the fellowship. There was a lot missing, man. There was a lot missing, and I saw them. Like, dang, what happened to Wichita, man? He went back out, but God blessed him to come back in. But he's shot. His mind is gone, and that's really scary for me. I don't want that to happen. I got a choice for it not to happen. One day at a time. There's this girl that I saw her downtown Detroit, and she's got 8 years clean, but she has lost her mind. See, I don't want to get this program. By the time I get it, one guy told me, he said, you know what, you're going to be so effed up. By the time you get this program, you might as well stay it out and use it. I don't know if that sounds good or not, but I understand in a way what he meant, because by the time some people got it, they lost their mind, went crazy. I saw this girl, she's got several years clean, but she's out of her mind. I mean, really. But she wasn't like that before. She went back out and flipped. So, I'm glad I'm here at the camp. It's peace and serenity, I'm definitely glad I'm here, man, because it shows me that it can be done. It can be done, A lot of people here, you have what I want, and that's recovery. That's recovery, and some peace of mind, all the stress and anxiety of. Well, now I'm out of treatment. I need a car, a house, some designer clothes, roll in my pocket, Be nice, though, but I want the peace, though, the mental peace. just trying to take suggestions, and go with the flow. And again, I know the topic for me is trust. It's not easy. I'll leave this meeting right now and be worrying about something. I got to take this test for this little job I got coming up Tuesday, and there's some anxiety over that. I'll go right back to worrying, stressing. So it takes practice. I know it's going to take a lot of practice. Just one day at a time. Surrender, 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 surrender it all. And this time in recovery, the reason I say that because other things I didn't do last time, but this time in recovery, I have to surrender everything. I thought I was just surrendering the drugs, but I never did surrender my behavior. That's why I went back. Got to get rid of the behavior and a whole new way of thinking, man. For me, my thinking is shot. I really believe in what I'm saying sometimes. It's not right. So my higher power cares about me. That's all I got. That's the only hope I got, You guys care about me too in the rooms I'm learning. But what do I do 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm by myself? That's the key. See, I'm not going to use here. What do I do Friday night? Got $500 in my pocket, and I'm antsy and I'm bored. That's, when I need my higher power the most, In groups, it's no problem. So, learning to trust, get a good sponsor again, and this time do what he says. Try to this time. Take some suggestions. Never made coffee, never cleaned up, never did none of that. I guess I wanted a softer, easier way, I tried everything. Instant delivery, going to church, I'm delivered, you're delivered. Some people that might work for it didn't work for me. I had tears in my eyes, I cried. The Lord delivered me from this madness. Short time later, I was smoking dope. Didn't work. So, I want to follow with, the NA Narcotics Anonymous program's got to say this time. They try to be part of the process. That's the reason I'm setting up here. I really didn't want to share, but I said, why not? I ain't got nothing to hide. I've hid for years, put on 2 faces, That's not how I really am. How I really am. You don't want to know how I really am. But, it's good. It's all good. So I appreciate the opportunity to get up here and say something. I didn't plan to get up here this morning, though. It just happened, And that's good, I was always planning everything, planning my day, planning my hour. I just wanted to surrender this shit. This stuff. Let it go and just go with the vibes, No more planning. I'm tired of planning. My plans don't work out. For real. So thanks for letting me share.
Well, we're just about out of time. We'll end this with a group hug and a Trinity prayer. Appreciate everybody that spoke and shared and everything.
Thanks for sharing.